Peace be upon you. Welcome to another video of Ganima platform. So today, we are going to learn about vulnerability scanning tools and how we can basically scan different websites and web applications and different networks to find vulnerabilities using an automated fashion. So what we need to see here, in the case of a cyber attack, there are 5 stages we need to involve. First up is reconnaissance, then scanning, then gaining access, maintaining access, and in the end comes forensics, in which we clear up our tracks. For example, if you are going to attack a machine, then we need to. And, for example, if some of you installed a backdoor, then after installing the backdoor we need to maintain that access, and in order to maintain that access, we need to clear our tracks so that whatever incident response management team is handling the situation won't be able to trace us. So out of all these 5 stages, the most important and the most time-consuming stage is reconnaissance. In recon, we think like an attacker, as an exploiter, and analyze where the vulnerabilities would be. We don't go in with hide and trial. We say we have some tools in an automated fashion that can do vulnerability detection on their own and tell us the confidence levels, i.e. at this endpoint, these are the confidence levels of this vulnerability at which it can be exploited. So as an attacker you get an open path. Wherever you think the most vulnerability lies, we'll focus the brunt of our attack on that point. For example, if one of the endpoints is especially vulnerable to SQL injection, how do we figure out which endpoint is more vulnerable? We used a tool that told us this endpoint has a SQL injection vulnerability, so that is what we are recommended to follow through with. So we try to do it manually, and if it is successful, it saves time eventually. These tools basically save us time in recon, basically. So today, we are going to look at one such tool that is called ZAP. It is basically an open web application security project. ZAP is one such tool and it's active for scanning and is one of the best tools. So we'll go to our Ganima dashboard, where we see a tab called Machines. We click on it. Machines uses vulnerability scanning using ZAP. Okay, so this machine hosts different vulnerabilities. Capture the flags given below while using OWASP ZAP vulnerability scanning tool. Okay, so in order to access this machine, we need to click on this button, join this live machine. We click on it. Now, we will be able to access this machine for a 3-hour window. We have the machine URL, icebreakerspro.com. And in this machine the first flag we need to capture is the absence of the anti-CFRS token. We click on details here. And it says use OWASP ZAP to actively scan the machine and hunt down the URL which shows the alert for the absence of anti-CFRS token. So we need to use ZAP for this. And I highly recommend that you install Linux from al-Nafi. And in order to install al-Nafi Linux, you can simply go to al-nafi.com/labs and then install the ISO image on your virtual box, or you can also get your live system USB from al-nafi.com/labs. Alright, the main benefit of al-Nafi Linux is that most of the tools involve hacking, and all the security-related tools come pre-installed in al-Nafi Linux. So I would highly recommend that we do this exercise via al-Nafi Linux. So al-Nafi Linux is already running for me. Okay, it's here. Alright, so these were the tools I was telling you already come installed in al-Nafi Linux. So, we have opened ZAP. On al-Nafi Linux, we have the ZAP interface. It's very simple to do active scanning with this. We just need to click on this button, Automated Scan. We have to give our machine domain here, which is icebreakerspro.com, and then we need to simply click on this button that says Attack. Okay, so what happens is that there are 2 things that will happen next with ZAP. The first thing it does is spidering. It is basically finding out all the directories that exist in the web application. It lists all the directories and endpoints hosted by the web application through spidering, so that we can simulate an attack on these endpoints, and then we see that 97% of my spidering is complete. Okay. We will wait until it's at 100%. Alright, so now we see that our spidering has been completed at 100%. Now the second phase of the attack begins, which is active scanning. Active scanning is basically sending out all the payloads to the web application and finding out how your application is reacting to those payloads. This becomes quite a dangerous matter. This is the reason you are not allowed to actively scan different applications that are public. Legally, you cannot actively scan them because active scanning can exploit your website and endanger it and do it harm. So this is where Ganema platform comes in, which provides you with a machine on which you can practice active scanning and complete capture the flag exercises. So here we see that our active scanning is going on, and if we see the alerts section side by side, we see all of the alerts coming in. The absence of anti-CFRS token. It has found 5 URLs for it by now. Okay, the first URL here is this one, Icebreakers Pro, utils. Fillerunner. It means that our first It means that the first flag we captured in Capture the Flag was the absence of an anti-CFRS token URL. So we will select it here. So the value for our Capture the Flag, what name did we choose? Absence of anti-CFRS token, and then we select the value, Icebreakers Pro, utils, Fillerunner, which we picked from here from the alert section for the anti-CFRS token. It is available at this URL. Okay, and then we submitted it here. Alright, so now our status is completed, which means that our value was correct. And then the second attack says that we have to put the application error disclosure alert, so if we look into that, then here it is in the alerts section. Application error disclosure. And this exists at Icebreakers Pro, utils, testcon. So we can put in its value there as well. Icebreaker, cons. Okay. We submit it. You can see that both of Capture the Flags have been captured. Okay. Some important things here we need to consider. We also have gotten some high-risk alerts. For example, this alert says Remote OS command injection. If we click on this, open it by double-clicking it, it will tell you that. What payload did ZAP submit against which it found these things? Okay. So you can see in the attack this URL, at testcon, the risk is high, the confidence is medium. And the payload in this attack was this, ZAP and cat, etc., passwords. So this will probably show all the passwords in the password directory. Okay, so this is how basically you can use ZAP to automate. And it basically also provides the solution. If at all possible, use library calls rather than extreme processes to recreate the desired functionality. This also recommends that if your website has any vulnerability, then how you can mitigate that vulnerability, and avoid the possibility of that vulnerability being exploited by outsiders. How you can protect your vulnerabilities from being exploited by outsiders. So we basically saw how to execute Capture the Flags on the Ganema platform using ZAP. And how we can use ZAP for vulnerability scanning on different web applications to detect their vulnerabilities, right? So I hope you guys learned something from this video. Thank you so much. We'll come back with some other attacks as well. So till then, goodbye. Allah protect you.